Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Sunday morning. It's January 5th, and it's time for our fifth day together. So we'll jump right in with our reading from Stephen Covey. So his writing for the fifth is, if I try to use human influence strategies and tactics of how to get other people to do what I want, to work better, to be more motivated, to like me and each other, while my character is fundamentally flawed, marked by duplicity and insincerity, then in the long run, I cannot be successful. My duplicity will breed distrust in everything I do, even using the so-called good human relations techniques will be perceived as manipulative. All right, so I really like this one, and for me it was, look how much smaller my bandage is today. For me, this really meant, to turn around for a minute. You can tell when somebody's not being sincere with you, and you can tell when you're being kind of what they call window washed, when they're looking behind you, or they're looking through you, or they're being rushed, and they're don't really care, like, how you doing today? When they don't really care, they want a good and move on, right? It's a social thing. And I think that's kind of what he's talking about here is, can we make sure we feel that for sure, right? But can we make sure we flip that over and make sure that we're not doing that we're projecting what we really want, that, we really want to connect with you, we really care about what you're about to say, and really not work on being liked, but being worked on, but work on how well are we connecting, how well are we caring. Some people would call it empathetic listening, and that comes up later in here, but I think what he's just trying to say is, if you just work on the personality side and try to be liked while you're still maybe kind of not worked on the inside of you yet, we can come across as duplicitous, and people see that right away. I know you do. But sometimes I think we're better at hiding it than the person in front of us, and we're not. So I just think he's saying work on that. Make sure you do that. Work on the inside of you before you work on what on your personality side. Otherwise, people will know there's two sides to you. Okay, we'll do our second reading today. Again, as always, Napoleon Hill's Positive Action Plan. His character, his theme for January, for the entire month, is traits of character. So all 31 days are about our character. And for today, for January 5th, he writes, sound character is our greatest asset because it provides the power with which we may ride the emergencies of life instead of going down under them. Without a positive mental attitude, life might be described as long periods of uncertainty, punctuated by occasional emergencies that shake you to the very core of your being. The emergencies may be financial, personal, or health related, but each must be dealt with separately and swiftly. The surest way to deal with any crisis is to focus on solutions, not on the probable cause of the problem or who should be blamed for it. Conduct a quick damage assessment, take the time to think through the alternatives and their consequences, and then act to implement the best solution. If you deal with life's emergencies as they occur on your own terms, you will be a stronger, better person for having looked them in the eye and conquered them. So this one speaks directly to my core. I believe it is so important when problems arise or emergencies occur to not get emotionally involved in them, to not look for blame. Maybe at some point look for cause so we can not repeat it and learn a lesson, but that's later. When the emergency is occurring or the problem's in front of us, the ability to almost remain a little cool, a little removed from it, and look at the alternatives, find solutions that work, and try to be positive about moving forward from the event. That doesn't mean we don't care. It doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. But it does mean that we have the wits about us to be positive about there is a way out, there is a solution, there's a way to respond, and that we should evaluate those and decide the best one possible and move forward with that solution rather than wallow in the pity or the pain of the problem. And there's certainly a repair process and how you deal with it, especially if it's a really big one, but you still have to move forward. You have to find solutions and move forward. You can't wallow. in the pain or the self-pity of the issue. And that speaks, that's something I feel I've worked on over the last 30 or 40 years. I've gotten quite good at it. Sometimes I think I even come across as cool or cold in a time of a crisis because, I'll deal with it. I'll deal with the emotion later, but I need to deal with the situation in front of me now. So anyway, I just think that's something that's critical for you to get good at, is dealing with problems and not letting it blow up your day, your week, your month, or your entire year. So this morning, I have something that won't come up a lot, I don't think, but I printed an email. How stupid is that? But this is something that I got I read Seth Godin on him every day. He puts out a daily email, a daily blog, and it's something I've come to, rely on. And today's was great, so I just want to read it to you. The essential quality of the boogeyman. He doesn't exist. This is what makes him the perfect creator of fear, an enemy with no defects, an affront for which there is no defense. Critics and skeptics can bring up the boogeyman because they know there is no acceptable response except for one. The boogeyman doesn't exist. That's why he's such an effective example and why you should ignore him. As soon as you look him in the eye, he vanishes. I think it's a great message. Something I've learned over the years, and I think it really works. It comes from dream therapy, actually, that if you are constantly haunted or you have nightmares, that if you can teach yourself to turn and face the beast in your dream, the beast actually disappears. And that struck a chord in me because I don't think it's any different in real life. I think when there's an issue, an elephant in the room, a problem, there's a beast, a boogeyman out there. I think the best thing we can do is turn and face it, stare at it, and eventually it goes away. Because even if it's real, we have to look at it and deal with it. And really that turns this kind of horrific emotional thing that's unaddressable into a set of action items that we can prioritize and get after. So, and it's the first few 10, 20 times you do it, it's a terrible experience. You turn and look at it, and sometimes it's something you've done in the past and you have to face this person, or it's a decision that you made and it was the wrong decision. And just dealing with that gut, that horrible pit in your stomach that, sometimes you almost sweat when you do it. But it is so important, and it's a skill that I recommend you hone, because the more you do it, the less painful it is, and the quicker you can go from that was a horrible decision and I couldn't be more sorry for what I said or did, and now we can move forward from it. So again, I just couldn't recommend that more than any of the other things you heard today. Is get good at staring at the beast or the boogeyman or whatever it is, staring at your fear or the elephant in the room and dealing with it directly. It's powerful. It's painful the first few times, but when you get good at it, it truly changes your life. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up today. So our Sunday edition is done. I hope these things are landing. You guys are giving me some good feedback, and I really do appreciate that. If you have ideas, hey, you'd like me to change it, or if there's better ways to communicate the ideas, please let me know. But that's it. We'll wrap this up and get it out. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Sunday. Bye.